that house, you need what? Understanding. And 3, for all the room, for you to be happy, for all the room to be filled with precious and pleasant riches, you need what? Knowledge. I'm going to explain the 3 weights. And why are the 3 weights very important? The first one is wisdom, the second one is knowledge, and the third one is understanding. I repeat, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Why are the 3 words very important? Let's say those who have children. There is something that parents and children also have to understand. I said, most of problem, we Christians, we tend to make them spiritual. Even if they are physical problem, you need to address them. Some problem, you don't need to pray. You don't need to pray for some problems. You just need to sit down and say, my brother, what you are doing here is not correct. Let's talk. You don't need to go and pray. I remember one of my pastor once said he was doing marriage counseling. And this man, he comes home every day and his wife didn't cook. And this man, he believed the wife is possessed with demons. And he had a problem with his marriage. So this man started going to church every day and pray. My friend, that is not a problem. And then he came to say, then that man came for counseling. Pastor, pray for me because look, my wife, I'm suffering. And the pastor looked at him and said, my brother, you don't need prayer. If your wife doesn't know how to cook, register him for cooking classes. It's simple. So, most problem, we Christian, we believe they are spiritual problems, they are demons. I don't know who brought this mindset of demons. Everything is demons, everything is Satan. Even things that you know yourself, you can solve. It's like complaining, I don't have a job, but you never applied for one. You go and pray. It's like a young man praying, God, I need a wife. God, he never talked to any girl. Do you understand? So this, we make issues, and either we blame God, either we blame Satan, where it's you just need knowledge or understanding of something for you to move on with your life. So coming together in a family or in a relationship or in a marriage is not the problem. Living together is the problem. To come together, you can meet in the street. You say, let's live together. Let's come together. You go, you pack your stuff, you go in the same house. 1 day, 2 days. But living there in that house forever, that is a problem. Why? Listen what one man who Kyle in 1931 said. They asked him, he was a prophet, they asked him about children. He said, Kyle, tell us about children. And Kyle was very smart. He was a prophet. And he said to a woman who were carrying a child, he said this, your children are not your children. Listen, I'm going to explain this. He said, your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life longing in itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies. You may build them a nicer house, you put them there, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit. You can't visit someone's soul. They can come in your house, but their soul, you can't touch it. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to be like them. For life goes not backward, but tarries in the yesterday. Okay, it's a long statement. I will just skip it and try to explain something. Living together is very difficult. Why? Because you don't know what the next person is thinking. You can be husband and wife. Oh, you have your children. I can call someone. I can call someone who has a child here to come in front, and I will ask the child to think about something, and then I will tell the father, "Tell me what this child is thinking." They won't tell you. It means it is very hard to know what another person is thinking. It is very hard to know what are the feeling if they don't tell you. But then you make a decision. You have to be with this person. You can't live with a person by guessing what they think. I have seen many people, and especially in this country, where you start a conversation and someone tells you, "Stop it right there. I know already what you are going to say." But how are you going to know? How do you know what I am going to say before I say it? And I have also seen and witnessed, by that way, an argument between two people who were in a relationship. And this woman comes and asks his husband, "Do you love me?" And the husband was doing some works on his computer. And the husband, he freezes because he didn't expect that question. He freezes and looks at the wife. And the wife stands there. And she walked out to say, "I know already." Because she judges the man who took time to respond. And that becomes an issue. So, why am I bringing this? I'm just trying to bring our understanding for us to be able to build a strong family. There are many things we need. How do we define our relationship? How do we define our marriage? And how do we build a family through the understanding? And I will also say something which will probably shock you, but I will explain it. Someone will say, "I have feelings for you," or "I love someone. I really love him or I love her because she tells me good things. Or she is beautiful. That's why I love her. Oh, she's a good singer. That's why I love her. I think she will be a good wife." Come on. That is where we started wrong. So, all the problem I enlightened up there, they start with a wrong decision making. Because what pushes us to go into a relationship, into marriage, and think of building a family, they are feelings. We start with feelings. We say, "Yeah, I think she will be." Okay. When you love something, does it make that thing to be right? Or when you love something, let's say Sister Grace has a nice car, and you say, I love my car. Does that make that car run? For the car to run, you need gas. It's not because you love it that now it will be going around. You need to know that this car to run, it needs gas. That's what makes it to run. So all these we call feelings, oh, I like how she sings, I like blah, 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 blah. They don't make relationship to work. They don't make marriage to work. I'm not in a marriage counseling. I'm just providing this information. They don't make nothing to work. Because I have a point where we are going to talk about feelings and love down of this. You can love something, but to love that thing doesn't make it to function. I will tell you the truth that many people who are divorced today, they were once in love. So if you hear anyone is divorced, you should know that once, they loved each other. But if they loved each other, why did they divorce? And they will also provide you with statistics which say that most people who get divorced, in the whole divorce process, they still love each other. But you will ask them, say, okay, do you still love him? Say, yes, I do. But okay, why don't you live together? No, I can't live with this man. The point is not like, I don't love him. No. The point is, I can't live with him. Because maybe there is something which is very strong than the so-called love or feelings. So, that's something that can be stronger than love or than feeling in a relationship. It can be maybe infidelity. You know, many people divorce. Even I know many Christians who say the only reason you can divorce your wife, it is when you find her in infidelity. My friend, that is an excuse. So, in another way, what you are telling me, there is something stronger than love. That if that thing hits, love is broken. Because you came together, because you love each other, right? Now, infidelity, bang, it hits. What happened to love? We divorce. That's what people do. Or maybe irresponsibility. Your husband is irresponsible. You married him because you love the person. But now you realize he's a gambler. He takes all the money and goes to do gambling. And he comes home and say, no. They will ask you the same question. Do you love this man? You say, yeah, I love. But why can't you live and say, I can't live with this man. He is irresponsible. So, in another way, what you are saying, it's irresponsibility. When it hits your marriage, even love can't stand it. They will ask you the same question and say, do you love this person? I say, I love. But why can't you live together? This man is abusive. So in another way, you are telling us that when abuse, whether it comes from women or whether it comes from men, when abuse hits your marriage or your relationship, not even love can stand it. That's why you part ways. Or you will say, she doesn't consider me or she's neglecting me. So, in general, what I am trying to say is that by your saying and by the saying of people who have been in a relationship and who claimed to be in a relationship or to be in marriage because of love, and then they divorced, they have shown us that there is something when it hits your relationship, when it hits your marriage, even the love they claimed cannot stand it. think about it. So in the verse we read of Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 and 4, it says three things. Wisdom, by wisdom a house is built. By understanding it is established. And by knowledge its rooms is filled with precious and pleasant riches. The first point, it's knowledge. If you want to build a good relationship or a perfect relationship, if you want to build a good marriage or a perfect marriage, if you want to build a good family or a perfect family, number one, you need knowledge. Let's read Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Can someone read that for me, please? Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Even in Swahili, yes. Amen. Amen. They say, my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. There is something we need to understand. When they say, my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge equals ignorance. It means that ignorance, the Bible, when you continue to say, because you have rejected knowledge, it means that ignorance is a choice. You choose to be ignorant. So you make that decision and say, I want to be ignorant. That's why they say you have rejected. You can't reject something which is not there. So if you reject, means that it is there and you reject. So if you are ignorant, it's because you made a choice to be ignorant. And then the Bible goes and says, because you have rejected knowledge, God says, I will also reject you. Why is God going to reject you? It's because God has put knowledge available to you. But you say, I don't want knowledge. I don't want anything to do with knowledge. And then the Bible goes and say, I will reject you. He say, you will not be my priest. Because God doesn't want you to be a priest if you are ignorant. You are going to lie to people. You are going to mislead people. So God will reject you if you don't have knowledge. Because you tell people about God you don't know. You will tell people things you don't know. You will tell them what you think, not what you know about God and what God wants you to tell them. And then he goes and say, I will even reject your children. Like, I will reject your children. Why? Because if you are ignorant, you are likely to transmit your ignorance to your children. If you are, we all know we probably come from somewhere, even here. You will see it's like a generational. If your parents were doing something in ignorance, even the children, they do, because the children, they tend to follow what their parents are doing. So if you are ignorant, it's easy for you to transmit that ignorance to your children. So when we reject knowledge, we are punishing not only ourselves, we are even punishing our children. Because you are the one who is supposed to teach your children and guide them in the right way, guide them in the way of God. So if yourself, you have already rejected this, your children will suffer the same consequences. If you have rejected knowledge of marriage and then you are divorced, you are likely your children to divorce. If you in your family or the top there, they don't get married, you are likely to hate marriage. You say, marriage is nothing because my grandfather wasn't married. You will see most people who are In polygamy, those who are married to 2 wives or 5 wives, they will tell you, my grandfather had 3 wives, my uncle had. So, if you are in ignorance of something, you are going to impact to your children. So, ignorance is a choice, and it's us ourselves who make that choice. And God said, if you do that, I'm going to reject you, because God sees you are even going to punish your children because of your ignorance, because of your lack of knowledge. So knowledge is very important in a relationship. Knowledge of what? That is a question. The knowledge of what? What do we need to know for us to build a strong family? What do we need to know for us to build a strong marriage? What do we need to know for us to build a strong relationship? I said, number 1, it's knowledge. Any successful marriage, it is the application of knowledge, not the exchange of feelings. The knowledge of, I will come to this, explaining what knowledge do you need to know of a person. It's like I used to talk to some youth and say, my friend, don't marry someone you don't know his parent. Don't meet someone at the Rido Center. Hi, I love you. And next day, you don't know where this man come from. You don't know his father, you don't know his mother, you know nothing about him. And you want to marry that person. You have to know. And that is the issue. Actually, I'm talking this because I know the problem we are having in our generation. We are having these issues. We go with feelings. And we forget that coming together, it's not an issue, but living together, it's a problem. At the end of the day, we get married. After 2 months, we divorce. So before you go to something, you need to know. I used to tell my friends, I say, ask questions. How do you get knowledge? You get knowledge by asking questions. There is no stupid question. If you want to build something which is strong, there is no stupid question. Ask questions. But we don't ask questions. We jump into cuddling, kissing. That's what we jump into, which is wrong. And we forget the most important part. We have to know about the people. We have to know about the people we are trying to build a family with. We need to ask questions. And if you have already moved from that stage, you can't ask questions, it's not late. Because if you don't ask questions, you will be surprised. And when you are surprised, all your feelings will disappear. After 2 years, yes. 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 His place where? Yes.
Find yourself taking decision yourself and execute them without maybe your husband. And the husband will say, oh, she doesn't know her place. So, the knowledge of knowing the people, because you just said that when you know that person.
Okay, yeah, I understand. When I say that you need to get knowledge, it is knowledge of many things. you have to know the person you are trying to start a family with. You have to know that in life, things will not always go your way. You have to know that different people are created differently and they have different perspectives, because you can't compromise on something if you don't know. You have to know that one day you will come home and you want to watch telenovela, and your husband want to watch a game of Chelsea and Liverpool, that one of you need to compromise. So you need the knowledge of that, how people live in a relationship.
Who have to compromise?
Yes, who has to compromise? Between, I said, one of you have, before you go in a relationship, you have to know that it comes a time when we are in a relationship, we are living together, one must compromise. It doesn't matter who compromises. But if you are at a chance of compromising, please compromise. Okay. The point, I understand you say, play the victim or be the victim, then you become the victim. I'm not saying that you are becoming the victim. Because you will see there are many marriages or there are many relationships that got broken. When they tell you the story, you say, they could have saved this marriage. You will see many people who divorced, after 5-10 years, they will say, I think I had a chance to save my marriage. I didn't do anything. They realize after. They argued because the husband didn't take the dog out for a walk. That was a problem. This man, this doesn't work anymore. And it sat there. And it escalates, and then, boom, the marriage is over. So when I talk about knowledge, we need to know. Please, and that's why I say, for you to know, ask a question. One day I was talking to one of my friends. I say, my friend, it is not bad to ask guys, we're in the Bible study, and I'm just trying to be truthful. Ask your husband or your future husband, or ask them questions. For you to know. If you doubt about something, don't go and gossip out there with your friend, my husband is like this. Ask him a question and say, hey, this doesn't work. What is the problem? Ask your wife a question, or your future, your fiancé. My fiancé, every morning I see you with those hair. Are those your natural hair, or you bought them from Chinatown? Ask a question. Because don't be surprised one morning you wake up, she doesn't have hair in the hair, and you say, no, this is not how I expected you to be. And suddenly it is going to go. This will fall down. You get knowledge by asking questions. When you get the information, then you decide, SKEB, my information iko nayo, do I accept to go with this or no? If you see you can't manage that, please, acha mutoto ya batu. Don't waste their time, whether you are a male or you are a female. Make life easier. Yes. Yes. All right. That's a very good question. How do you explain that someone with a PhD in psychology is divorcing? He has the knowledge. There is something they say in psychology. All psychologists, or most of psychologists, are patient. They are patient. They advise people, but they have also people to advise them. It doesn't mean because they are psychologists, they don't have issues. They have issues which need to be managed with other people. So when I talk about knowledge, and that is also one thing I wanted to say, the source of knowledge. You want to go in a relationship, but you are going to ask an advice of marriage to someone who has divorced 3 times. You say, my husband, the person you are going to ask the information to, he has already divorced 3 times. Okay, just generally, what information do you expect to get from that person? So the source of information is very important. Yes. Yes. That is correct. Failing doesn't mean that they are going to fail. But I have gone already to 3 marriages, right? 1 and 2 and 3. And then I never got married. I will rather prefer for you to go ask an advice to someone who is in a stable relationship. Say, hey, how does this work with you? I am sure that person will tell you, my friend, it is not green every day. Some days we wake up, I ask myself, why did I marry this man? He will tell you, she will tell you that, or he will tell you that. Because those days come. When you are married, you wake up, you say, I don't know why I got married to this person. But let's read Proverbs chapter 4, verse 5 and 7. It says, because of the time, Brother Papi, you will add me some minutes. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 5 and 7, it says, get wisdom, get understanding. In verse 7 it says, wisdom is supreme, therefore get wisdom, through it costs you all you have, get understanding. That will take us to what I call the second point, understanding. Yes. Yes. That's a very good thing. I understand I'm just jumping things because of time, yes? Yes. Exactly. Yeah, all right. Actually, the question is, knowledge, you get knowledge from information. So you need information. So the information can be true or false. The information. And that's one we know. That's why I remember one of my best actor I love, he said, he had an interview and they asked him about information. And he told the media, this media was asking him, and he asked them the same question. He said, do you watch TV? And they said, yes. Then he answered them that, wow, then you are getting wrong information. And if you don't watch TV, then you are ignorant. The question is not what you are getting. The question is the quality of what you are getting. So you can get all this information here and there, find what is the correct information. That's why I'm saying the source of information is very important. That's why in churches, most established churches, they have what they call counseling. Counseling is very important because counseling is not being taught by someone because he did studies. This person is a Christian. This person knows the Bible. So all the counseling they are going to provide to you is based on your faith. It's based on Christ. It will help you in your life, your physical life, and it will also help you in your spiritual life. That's why I will say it's very important to ask questions. And if you need information, go to your church members, those you know they have knowledge, ask them, how does this work? Simple is that. understanding. Understanding of what? You are going to read this verse because I know you have read it already. People need to understand something. And love is not a feeling. That is number one thing we have to know, that love is not a feeling. We are going to see what the Bible talks about love. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 and 7, it says, love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't envy, love, it goes down, 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 down. Is that a feeling? When you read that verse, which we usually apply on love, that verse itself, it shows that this is not a feeling. Because you don't feel like forgiving someone. You don't feel like not doing, you don't feel. In John chapter 3, verse 16, what does it say? So God loved the world. Did God feel? Because if God could feel, looking at what we are doing, people are drunk, and then God looks down, how will they feel? Because if God had felt something, like God had feelings, looking at how the world was going, we wouldn't be redeemed today. We wouldn't be saved. Because the feeling would be bad. Feeling can be good or can be bad. And if you have a bad feeling, your response is negative. If you have a good feeling, your response is positive. We were doing bad things. And if God had feeling, then his response could be negative. Unfortunately, it's not feeling. Since love is not feeling, we have to remember one thing. Feeling is chemical. Chemical changes every 5 seconds. Those who did chemistry, they will tell you that. Chemical is something that changes anytime it can change. So if you are in a relationship or you are in a marriage, based on feelings, how you feel about that person, when he talks, I feel so good. If you are, because of that, the day he will not talk to make you feel so good, you will run away. If you are in a relationship or marriage because, wow, he sings so nice, the day he will stop singing, you will run away. Because feelings can change anytime. But if love is not feeling, and the feelings can change anytime, and you are in this family because I felt something. I felt some attraction. I used to say those are jokes. You don't feel attraction. It's a lie. Yeah, so we have to be very careful. Okay, what does the Bible talk about this? Let's read in Matthew chapter 5, verse 43. You can write. I'll just say what it says. 5, 43, and 48. Jesus says, love your enemy. How can you love your enemy if a love is feeling? Because pray for those who hate you, and love those who persecute you. Someone who wants to harm you, Jesus says, love that person. Come on. You will understand that this is not about feeling. So when we talk about love, we are not talking about feeling. So stop confusing love and the feeling. Whatever you call love, actually, according to the Bible, it is a decision. You choose, you make a decision to be with someone. Because when you decide, I am going to be here, no matter what comes, you will be there. Because you made that decision. You make a decision to be at a place, and you say, no matter what comes, I will be there. Someone used to tell me, actually, one of my reverends, he said, I think Jesus said, love your enemy, because he knew that in marriage, sometimes in 1 week, you can be enemies twice a week. You will wake up in the morning, everything is fine, and your husband or your wife does something you don't like. Suddenly you are enemies. This one goes this way, this one goes this way. Why do you still come together? Because Jesus says, love your enemy. You still love him. So it's a decision. You make the decision. So for you to be able to love your enemy, you don't need to feel feelings for them. According to Jesus, you need to decide and say, hey, this man is my enemy, but I decide to love him. I decide to pray for him. I decide to bless him. That's what Jesus is telling us. It's not about feeling, but it's about decision. And also, love is a command. Jesus commanded it. A new command I give you, love. So when the Bible talks about love, it talks something which is different from everything we know. It talks about decision making. So we have to decide before. Why do we decide? We decide because we have the knowledge. We have the information. This information gives us knowledge. When we get knowledge, we get understanding of what we are going to be involved into. Now I know when I get married, this is what I will be involving myself into. When I get married, I will be married once, and I will stay there until the day I die, no matter what happens. When I get married, you get information to give you knowledge, and you understand this information. And what you have understood is what you are going to apply in your family. It's what you are going to apply in your relationship. It's what you are going to apply in your marriage. Because people will always do something you didn't expect. I have heard someone who's married say, sikuwa nategemea kama huyu bwana anaweza nifanya hivi. Yes. Yes. All right.
This is a serious question as Christians. Why, as Christians, we will always do things that in a relationship that other people don't want? Why? Because as Christians, we don't have to do things that our friends, our wives, our husband don't want. Otherwise, we are breaking the principles of Christianity. I'll give an example. I know that my partner, so my wife, doesn't like me walking with snowshoes in the house. I know that. That is an example, right? And I come and I walk with the shoes with snow. I know she doesn't want that. I know my husband doesn't like when all the lights are on like in a saloon. So I know that. But I'll be like, no, I want them like that. And the husband will be like, okay, I want to walk with the shoes in the house. Okay, so what? For me, this is a real good question.
Yes.
If I'm a Christian, I know that he does not want this, and I will not do it. And vice versa.
Yes, yeah, it's a very good question. Why do Christian people, they are already Christian,
Yes.
but still they do things which another person doesn't expect? Because they are people. Human, that's why I say you need what? You need knowledge. You have knowledge, and you need to understand that human being, they are human being. they will do something one day you don't expect. You can tell them, I don't want you to walk with shoes. One day they will come. Let me give you an example. How your husband or your wife is going to walk with snowshoes in your house. He will be late going to work. He's in his car. He remembers he forgot his phone in the room. And now he's already wearing those snowshoes, long one, and they are full of snow. Now he comes running and looking, my boss will be chasing me. He will walk with those snowshoes. He doesn't have time to open them.
That's okay, one
Okay,
time.
that is okay. But that is one example I'm just giving you. And you, without knowing that this man was late, you blow out of proportion. Say, this man doesn't listen. Oh, this woman doesn't listen. That's why I say you need understanding. To understand that one day, this person can do something I don't expect. And I have to understand that, hey, man, but how did you walk with snowshoes? I said, no, sorry, I was late, man. I was late. I just rushed and I didn't have time to open. You need to understand that this can happen. Whether he did it willingly or unwillingly, you have to understand that. And even himself also, he need to understand that every time I do this is offending because for this marriage to stand, or this relation to stand, or for this family to stand, both of you need to come to an agreement. You agree to things and you talk about those things so things can move forward. The same thing with children. One day the children will do something you don't like. One day you will do something they don't like. Hey, sit on a table. Talk about it and move forward. And also, I will just give you these two verses. I will not talk about them. Love is a law. I said love is a command. You can read in John chapter 13, verse 34. And you can also read John 15, verse 12 and 13. You can read John chapter 15, verse 17. You can read John chapter 14, verse 15. And lastly, love is a date. So if you are in a relationship, you owe someone. If you are living with someone in the house, you owe love to that person. It's like a credit. When you owe the bank, do you feel like paying the debt? You don't feel. When the tax collector calls you, hey, Brother Ifan, you owe us. How do you feel? You feel very bad, right? But you still pay it. Because that's what when you do that, you do what is right. So according to Romans chapter 13, verse 8, the Bible says, we don't have any other debt to pay except the one of loving one another. So love is a debt. When you are with someone in a relationship, when you are with someone in a family, in marriage, you owe that person. No matter what they do, you have to love them. Even if you don't feel like, you owe them. So, as I conclude for today, because Brother Papi is already looking at me, there is no a perfect person. There is no a perfect being. God is like a chef in a restaurant. He makes different meals. He makes a hamburger, he makes a sandwich, he makes pizza, he makes rice and chicken wings. When you get the hamburger, it is so delicious. And one person, when I ask you, we are going to a restaurant, what do you want? Everyone will say what they want, right? Say, I need a hamburger. That is what makes them feel good. Another one will say, I need pizza. Another one will say, I need a sandwich. Another one will say, I need chicken wings. God has made people like that. Everyone is unique in his own way. God is a chef, and you who is involving with those people, you are a client. What now do you have to do? What you have to do, it is if you want this hamburger, and you realize that I need some barbecue chicken sauce, buy ketchup. What I call ketchup, it's if you marry someone who doesn't know how to dress like me, for example. It's an example, right? You marry someone who doesn't know how to dress, but you really love this person. You have made a decision to be with that person. Hey, buy ketchup. Ketchup means, say, hey, John, you have to change your lifestyle. Help him to change. It means add ketchup on what? On the meal you have bought. If you say, okay, don't compare your husband or your wife or your children with someone else. If you feel like the sauce of pizza is the best, say, okay, that man, I like. You understand? Women say that a lot because they don't have knowledge. They don't understand. My friend, buy ketchup. Ketchup means, say, my husband, hey, you look smart in the way you are, but I also want you to look smart to me. Please, I want you to change your haircut this way. So you will not get someone who has the ingredient of pizza and the same ingredient. Okay, what will happen if you are a chef? Who gonna pick up? Unabeba viungo vya pizza, viungo vya hamburger, viungo vya chicken wings, viungo. You mix together. What meal will you get? You will not get no meal. You can't eat it. And that is what happened when you are living in a family, when you are living in a relationship, when you are living in a marriage. Buy one thing, and if you still need extra, buy ketchup. May God bless you. Amen.
Sauti na kuomba kwa mwisho. Karibu. Ndani ya relationship zetu zote tunaomba utuwezeshe na utushike mkono ili tuzijenge familia ambazo zinashimama kamilifu. Tunaamini ya kwamba huko Mungu upande wetu. Tunamwombea mwalimu wetu wa leo, endelea kumpatia nguvu na wakati ya kwenda kulidevelope neno lako zaidi Bwana, ili siku ingine Bwana aweze kutufunza kutoka kwako. Tunakushukuru maana huko Mungu. Tunaomba kwamba Bwana utembee nasi jioni ya leo tukiondoka mahali hapa kwenda nyumbani. Kupitia jina la Yesu tunaomba tukiamini hivi. Amen.